when I went on YouTube and I saw a lot of people talking about DJI Osmo, I was like, please let it not be that DJI is releasing Osmo Pocket 4, because you know how DJI are, right? Every month, every year, they have a new something. But this time around, they have actually upgraded the firmware of the Osmo Pocket 3. Pretty much there are three main features that DJI just released in this new firmware. The very first feature on this new update is the new telephoto zoom option, right? So now when you're filming, you can just tap, there's an icon that you can just tap and it's going to automatically zoom in the video for you and give you like that telephoto feel, like a 40mm feel. So this lens, I believe it's a 22mm, somewhere around there. So you can just tap a button and it's going to zoom it in. So it's not supposed to be a digital zoom from what I'm reading, which kind of doesn't really make sense, because you know the focal length of this lens is 20mm. So at the end of the day, it is a digital zoom. So on paper it sounds cool, right? Because now you have some kind of like telephoto feel type of lens. Because one annoying thing about the Osmo is that everything is white, right? And sometimes we want to just punch in, and I mean, for me, I hate zooming in on the camera and stuff. So I do understand the idea behind this feature, meaning that if you're shooting and you want to just quickly, zoom in, you can just tap a button and it's going to give you like that second angle telephoto feel, which all you're really doing is just cropping the video, which is something you can actually do in post, if I'm being honest. I mean, I feel like this is a cool feature on paper, but it's not really a feature that is exciting for me. Now, the number one reason why this is not an exciting feature for me is because in order for you to use the telephoto mode, you have to be in normal color, right? But then the normal color on the Osmo, I think it sucks, right? And nobody really uses it. I mean, you can Google around. Most of the people that uses the Osmo Pocket 3 are using Dlog-M. So you're telling me that with this feature, I have to use the normal color, which I'm not going to compromise, my color for a digital zoom that I can do in post, right? So it's kind of like a cool feature on paper, but like it's not really that exciting. Another thing that I don't like about this new feature is that you cannot use active track while this feature is on. So I'm just like, these are like the main things that we all use on the Osmo, right? We all use active track. So now when I zoom in, normally with the optical zoom, I can use the active track, but when I zoom in with this new telephoto mode, I cannot use the active track. I think it kind of sucks. Third thing that I don't like is your ISO cannot pass 1600, so you can go higher than 1600. So this is really like a feature that sounds cool, but comes with a lot of limitations. Like it's so much limitations that it's almost rendered useless. Like I can still forgive the active tracking, but that Dlog-M, I cannot forgive it. And I'm probably thinking this is something that DJI is going to release in the new update. Maybe they're going to like fix it and stuff. I don't think there's a need for us to have a major upgrade like this with a lot of limiting features. The second feature that they released in the Osmo, I think that is pretty cool, which is the breathing focus compensation mode. Now you can on it and off it. So like the breathing compensation is pretty much when you're recording a video, the focus is not going to be jumping up and down, right? So which means that now when I'm recording a video and let's say I go out of focus and I come back in focus, it's not going to be like dancing around, right? Because that's very annoying. So like it's going to be like a much more smoother transition whenever your video is breathing when it's focusing. So I do think that's a really good feature. I haven't tried it yet. I turned it on. I'm going to be shooting a couple of videos and I'm going to make a follow-up video around it, but I do think that's a really good feature. That's something I haven't really had an issue with my focus breathing on this Osmo, because the lens is so wide that like you're not really going to have that issue. But I guess it makes sense because of the new tele mode, right? When you're in the tele mode, most likely you're going to be having breathing issues, right? So definitely that might be the reason they go hand in hand together. But if you're shooting like on the normal lens, normal angle, on the 20mm, you shouldn't really have much issues with focusing and stuff. And the third feature is the ability to have Dlog-M in webcam mode. So previously, whenever you go to webcam mode, you plug your laptop and you go to webcam mode, you're gonna be on normal color. But now you can have Dlog-M. I'm trying to think of a situation. I mean, I don't really use the webcam mode. I've actually never used it. I mean, I've used it to test it, but I've really never used it. I'm trying to see why I would need Dlog-M if I'm like using it for webcam mode. But people use these Osmo for different applications and stuff, and different varieties. So it is a cool thing to have. But let me know if you have any use case, for it. I'm definitely, would like to know and stuff. Now, I do want to give DJI, their flowers for their continuous innovations on the Osmo, right? Like, I don't think that they predicted the Osmo to be this hot of a product. Like, this is the #1 camera for all the creators. Like, every event, every creator, anything that has to do with creator, everybody's like this with the Osmo. So for them to be pushing out more updates and pushing the boundaries and the capabilities of the Osmo, like straight out of the box, the Osmo was a really good product already, but every couple of months there's a new update and they're striving to make it better and stuff. At the same time, I will also say, please don't release updates with so many limitations, like the telezoom. I do think it's a cool feature on paper, but we're gonna need further updates for us to have the Dlog-M and the active tracking and to be able to go past 1600 ISO around it. So if we have all that might be cool. But then again, this made me think about what we're looking for in the DJI Osmo Pocket 4, and I kind of touched on this on one of my previous videos, and I was like, I would like a pro version of this Osmo Pocket 3, right? But then it might take away from it being a pocket camera. I get that, because like I have the DJI Mavic drone and I see the multiple cameras, and I'm kind of like, I would love the next Osmo Pocket 4 to have that telephoto feature, because one of the things that I actually didn't like about the Osmo is, yes, the lens is wide, but it's too wide. If you want to get a variety of cinematic shots and stuff, everything's pretty much wide. You really don't have that telephoto focal lens, which I thought was missing. I do like the idea of that 40mm telephoto, kind of feel. So maybe in the Osmo Pocket 4, we can have a pro version that has 2 cameras, and the second camera will be like an actual camera. I do not like digital zoom at all. But yeah, pretty much those are the new updates on the Osmo Pocket 3. Let me know your thoughts on these updates, and I'm not a fan of it, but that's me. It is what it is. I'll see you guys in the next video. Let's go.